you have to do a consultation. But the idea is for 6 months, so if in your mind you say, if I could give this person 6 months or less, maybe it's just 3, but if up to 6 months of some type of treatment is going to put this person in a better place to make a better choice, that's when we want to use it.
Okay. So on restoration services, the next part here, we're just gonna talk about some of the service categories and just go over a few things with them. Make sure the service provider accepts our authorization and fee schedule. Make sure that the class is approved, so that if you're having somebody doing some therapy, you're using, and I know they're not called LPCs anymore, but you know, we're using an APRN, we're using an LCSW, we're not using something that we don't license or approve. And then that's the fee schedule that goes with that. If you're using a psychiatrist or an MD, you need to have a CPT code for the service. Make sure you include on the authorization that they have to submit a written report. Anything we pay for, we want written reports for. If you're authorizing to a group, if I'm authorizing to IHC Behavioral Health, in my body of my authorization, I'm going to put who my specific provider is. I'm going to put, 6 sessions of individual therapy with Corey Virgin, LCSW. I'm not going to just leave it blank down there. Okay?
Well, is there a general counsel that the home office would recommend when a lot of these groups or clinics that you send them to, they'll determine what counselor they're going to assign them based upon the intake? So in those cases, should we only authorize for an intake and then the other sessions? Okay.
Yep, I'm authorizing for the intake to the group, and then
But you need to decide who's doing the intake on it.
if I get people, what I would do is then I would get the report back, or when they'd call me and say, yeah, I had them see this person and we think they need additional therapy, I would just handwrite onto my authorization before we send it up to fiscal with Corey LCSW.
Okay.
Because
you
I
could
didn't
even
know
put
upfront.
a to be determined,
Yeah.
but just for that,
Just for that one.
right.
Right.
Because they're figuring out who it's going to be. We also had a situation where a client the plan said they were going to see one doctor in the practice, but because he got called out of town unexpectedly, they had him see someone else that day. That provider called the supervisor, who said, yes, that is fine, we'll still honor the authorization, even though he's seeing Dr. Rich instead of Dr. Tanner.
And that's okay.
And then they put a narrative in the file that this is why they did it this way, because of a situation. Because the narrative says, we're not gonna delay services to our client because the doctor this guy's been scheduled to see for the last 2 months got called out of town unexpectedly, if someone else in the office can see him. So, if it's someone you haven't used before, you do need to check the DAPA website to make sure they're licensed, and they recommend putting the license number on the authorization. If it's somebody that we're using on a regular basis, somebody on your vendor list, you guys don't have to go check the office website on it. Unless you think there might be an issue with that. Okay, any questions, medications? On your authorization, you want to make sure in the body of the authorization you've got the doctor's name, the medication, the dosage, and the quantity. So, like they have the example here, prescribed by Dr. Smith, or RX as per Dr. Smith, Prozac 20 milligrams, 30 tablets. Risperidol, 5 milligrams, 100 tablets, whatever it's going to be. Also, when you're writing your plan, your IPE, be careful how you're writing what you're going to authorize, or what we're going to pay for. I've seen plans where people say VR will assist with prescriptions. What prescriptions, for how long, prescribed by who? I've had new counselors come and say, I'm not gonna do this, I don't think they need these prescriptions. Well, no, you are, because your plan says, we're gonna do prescription assistance for the next year. Well, I said, next time you get them in here, negotiate with them and change the plan. Firm it up. You don't wanna be super, prescriptive, because if I've got somebody going to see Dr. Rich and he's gonna change their medications every 2 months, I want some flexibility, but I might just say, medications for my anxiety as prescribed by Dr. Rich or whoever.